Life aboard the USS Lyndon B is unlike anything else on this planet. It's a $4.24 billion technological fortress where 147 sailors work and live for 9 months at a time in conditions that test the absolute limits of human adaptability. You've got just 610 feet of steel to house, feed, and sustain these people while they operate the most advanced stealth destroyer ever built, traveling at speeds exceeding 30 knots through some of the world's most dangerous waters. And it's quite impressive how these sailors manage to maintain combat readiness around the clock, how they coordinate thousands of daily tasks, sleep in shifts that never truly end, and somehow find ways to stay human while living inside what is essentially a floating weapons platform designed to be nearly invisible to enemy radar. The impossible challenge. The DDG-1002 is the third and final Zumwalt-Class destroyer, and it represents the pinnacle of naval stealth technology. But here's the thing. All that cutting-edge technology means nothing if the crew can't function effectively. To put it into perspective, this ship costs more than most countries' entire annual defense budgets, yet the people who operate it live in spaces that would make a college dorm room look spacious. The challenge isn't just surviving aboard, it's maintaining peak performance. While your body clock gets scrambled by watch rotations, your personal space consists of about 6 feet of bunk, and every single thing you do has to account for the fact that you're potentially heading into combat at a moment's notice. Kitchen and the food, the galley, where morale is made or broken. The food aboard the Lyndon B is famously excellent, and there's a very good reason for that. Navy leadership figured out decades ago that good food is the single most important morale factor on long deployments. Feed sailors well, and they'll endure almost anything else. Feed them poorly, and you've got discipline problems within weeks. The ship's galley operates 24 hours a day, serving 4 full meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and midnight rations, for sailors coming off late watch. The culinary specialists, Navy-trained chefs who've completed extensive training programs, prepare meals for 147 people using a kitchen that's about the size of a 2-car garage. Food quantities and storage. Let's talk numbers, because they're staggering. For a typical 90-day deployment, the Lyndon B stocks approximately 16,000 pounds of chicken, 12,000 pounds of beef, 8,500 pounds of pork, 4,200 pounds of fish, 3,800 pounds of turkey, 22,000 eggs, 2,400 gallons of milk, 1,800 pounds of butter, 3,500 pounds of fresh vegetables, 5,000 pounds of frozen vegetables, 2,200 pounds of fresh fruit, 3,800 pounds of frozen fruit, 1,200 pounds of coffee, 850 pounds of rice, 750 pounds of pasta. To put it into perspective, that's enough food to serve nearly 40,000 individual meals, with each meal carefully planned for nutritional balance and variety. Living quarters, sleeping quarters, where privacy goes to die. Let's start with where these sailors actually sleep, because it's probably not what you're imagining. The enlisted crew aboard the Lyndon B sleep in berthing compartments with triple-stacked bunks that measure exactly 6 feet 6 inches long by 2 feet 6 inches wide. That's it. That's your entire personal domain for 9 months. The sailors call them coffins for good reason. You're literally crawling into what amounts to a padded shelf with a curtain. Each sailor gets one storage locker underneath their bunk, measuring roughly 2 feet by 3 feet by 1.5 feet deep. Into this space, you've got to fit your entire life. Uniforms, personal items, toiletries, any books or entertainment, and anything else you might need for a deployment that could last up to 270 days. In fact, most sailors develop an almost obsessive organizational system just to make it work. But here's where things get interesting. The Lyndon B being a newer vessel, actually has slightly better berthing arrangements than older destroyers. Instead of hot bunking, where sailors on different watch schedules literally share the same bunk, keeping it warm 24/7, each sailor gets their own rack. That might not sound impressive until you realize that on some submarines, 3 sailors rotate through 2 bunks, meaning there's always someone trying to sleep while someone else is being woken up to take their spot. Rank has its privileges. The officers naturally have it better. Junior officers share staterooms with one other person, getting about twice the space of enlisted personnel. Senior officers and the commanding officer get their own private quarters, though private is relative. We're talking about rooms roughly the size of a walk-in closet, not a master bedroom. The captain's cabin on the Lyndon B. Johnson measures approximately 150 square feet, including a small desk area and a private bathroom. It's the only truly private space on the entire ship. Chiefs, the senior enlisted leaders, get their own berthing area with only 2 high bunks instead of 3, plus slightly larger storage spaces. This isn't just about comfort, it's a recognition that these are the personnel who've spent 15 to 20 years in the Navy and form the backbone of the crew's experience and leadership. Toilets, showers, and laundry. Personal hygiene, a precisely choreographed ballet. Here's a number that'll surprise you. The USS Lyndon B. Johnson has exactly 19 shower heads for 147 crew members. Do the math, that's nearly 8 people per shower. And you don't get to use them whenever you want. Showers are strictly limited to what's called Navy showers, 3 minutes maximum. The procedure is specific. Wet down for 30 seconds, turn the water off, soap up and scrub for 2 minutes, then rinse for 30 seconds. Total water use, less than 3 gallons. Compare that to the average American home shower that uses 17.2 gallons, and you start to understand the resource management challenges. But since fresh water is created through desalination systems that can only produce about 12,000 gallons per day for the entire ship's needs, drinking, cooking, cleaning, machinery cooling, and yes, bathing, every drop matters. The thing is that the ship can store up to 60,000 gallons in its tanks, but that's barely a 5-day supply if everyone showered normally. Hollywood showers. There is one exception to the 3-minute rule, the Hollywood shower. This is a full-length water-running the whole time shower that's considered an absolute luxury. Sailors earn the privilege of a Hollywood shower in a few specific ways: returning from a particularly grueling duty assignment, completing a qualification ahead of schedule, or on their birthday. Some sailors joke that the happiest they've been in months was during a 10-minute Hollywood shower after 60 consecutive days at sea. The ship has 28 toilets total, which sounds reasonable until you factor in watch schedules. At any given time, roughly 1/3 of the crew is sleeping, 1/3 is on watch, and 1/3 is in transition or off-duty. This means morning and evening rush hours when everyone's trying to use facilities simultaneously. Moreover, on a destroyer, even using the head requires situational awareness. In rough seas, you're literally holding on to grab bars while doing your business. Laundry operations. Laundry presents its own unique challenge. The ship has 4 washers and 4 dryers for 147 people. Each sailor is allocated specific laundry days based on their duty section. Mess with the schedule and you'll find yourself wearing crusty uniforms for days. The washers run nearly continuously, 18 hours a day, every single day. Sailors typically do laundry every 4 to 5 days, washing their work uniforms, workout clothes, and undergarments in carefully coordinated shifts. Here's something you wouldn't expect. The ship's laundry detergent is specifically formulated to work in salt water, just in case the desalination systems fail. Plus, all detergents must be phosphate-free to avoid contamination issues with the ship's systems. Creative storage solutions. But here's the challenge. Where do you put all that food on a warship designed primarily for weapon systems and stealth technology? The answer, everywhere. Food storage gets pretty creative on the Lyndon B. Johnson. There are freeze spaces, chill boxes, dry storage rooms, and then there's the overflow. Cases of canned goods are stored under bunks, in passageways, in the machinery spaces. Basically, any location that maintains proper temperature and won't interfere with operations. In fact, for the first 2 weeks of a deployment, sailors literally step over cases of food in the corridors. As supplies get used, the ship gradually becomes more spacious. By day 60, you've got room to move around freely. By day 90, you're down to canned and frozen items, and fresh vegetables are a distant memory. The fresh food clock. Here's how the fresh food timeline works. Fresh milk lasts about 7 to 10 days maximum. Fresh vegetables like lettuce and tomatoes are gone within 14 to 18 days. Eggs can last up to 30 days if properly refrigerated. After that, it's powdered milk, frozen vegetables, and the culinary specialist's creativity. The thing is that these chefs are worth their weight in gold. They can make a meal from freeze-dried ingredients taste remarkably good. The galley staff works 16 to 18-hour days, starting at 0400 to prep breakfast and not finishing until after 2200 when midrats is served. They operate in temperatures that regularly exceed 95 degrees Fahrenheit due to the ovens, grills, and fryers running constantly. Moreover, they're doing all this while the ship is rolling in heavy seas, which means cooking surfaces are tilted and pots slide around despite secure storage systems. Free time and recreation. Downtime, when you can find it. Free time aboard the Lyndon B Johnson is a luxury, not a guarantee. Between 8-hour watch shifts, mandatory training sessions, maintenance duties, and qualification requirements, most sailors get maybe 3 to 4 hours of actual free time per day, and that's if things are going smoothly. During operations or drills, free time simply evaporates. The ship does have a small gym space equipped with 3 treadmills, 2 stationary bikes, a multifunction weight machine, and some free weights totaling about 2,500 pounds. This fitness center measures roughly 400 square feet, about the size of a modest bedroom, and serves 147 people. Scheduling is essential. Many sailors work out at 0300 or 0400 simply because it's the only time equipment is available. Shared entertainment spaces. The mess deck serves triple duty: dining area, meeting space, and entertainment center. After meal service ends, sailors can watch movies on a projection screen, play video games on personal devices, no internet connectivity, or participate in tournament-style competitions. The ship maintains a library of approximately 800 movies and TV series episodes, carefully selected to avoid content that might be problematic in close quarters. Board games, cards, and puzzles are surprisingly popular. When you've got no internet access and limited electronic entertainment options, classic games see a major revival. It's fair to say that more poker has been played aboard U.S. Navy vessels in the past century than in all the casinos in Las Vegas combined. Communicating with families. The communication challenge: digital silence. Here's something that might surprise you. Sailors aboard the Lyndon B Johnson can go 30 to 45 days without any contact with their families. Email exists, but it's heavily restricted, monitored, and completely dependent on satellite connectivity and operational status. The ship has email capability through the Navy's system, but every message sent or received goes through communications officers who scan for any information that could compromise operational security. You cannot mention location, heading, upcoming ports, ship movements, or anything related to what the ship is doing. Simple messages like "thinking of you," "love you," "doing fine" are the norm. No personal devices. But since the ship operates in stealth mode, radio silence is often mandatory. During these blackout periods, which can last weeks, absolutely no communications leave the ship. No emails, no phone calls, nothing. The outside world simply doesn't exist. Personal cell phones are collected before deployment and stored. No Wi-Fi exists aboard the ship. In fact, having any device capable of transmitting wireless signals is a serious violation. A sailor's smartphone with Bluetooth enabled could potentially be detected by sophisticated enemy systems, compromising the ship's position. Plus, sailors are explicitly prohibited from bringing wireless headphones, smartwatches, fitness trackers, or any personal electronics with transmission capabilities. The thing is that this digital isolation is one of the hardest adjustments for modern sailors, most of whom have never experienced life without constant connectivity. Many report that the first 2 weeks are psychologically brutal, like going through withdrawal. Unique aspects and adaptations, the Zumwalt difference, special rules for a special ship. The Lyndon B. Johnson, being a Zumwalt-Class destroyer, has some unique characteristics that set it apart from every other ship in the Navy. First, there's the automation. This ship requires only 147 crew members to operate, compared to 300 plus on older destroyers with similar capabilities. That automation is both a blessing and a curse. Fewer people means more work per person when things go wrong. Grooming standards are strictly enforced, but the ship does have 2 barbers who provide free haircuts to the crew. Maintaining military appearance standards matters for morale and discipline, even when you're thousands of miles from any inspection. Male sailors typically get haircuts every 2 weeks. Female sailors have more flexibility with hair length regulations as long as it's professional and doesn't interfere with equipment. Medical capabilities. Medical care aboard is handled by independent duty corpsmen, highly trained Navy medical personnel who operate without a doctor present. These individuals complete training equivalent to physician assistants and can handle everything from routine illnesses to emergency surgery. Here's the reality. If someone has a serious medical emergency beyond the corpsman's capabilities, the ship can request a helicopter medevac, but that depends entirely on weather conditions, distance to shore, and whether the tactical situation permits revealing the ship's position. In some cases, injured sailors have had to wait 24 to 48 hours for evacuation because conditions didn't allow safe helicopter operations. The control spaces, the brain of the beast, Combat Information Center. The Combat Information Center, the CIC, is where the Lyndon B. Johnson truly comes alive. This is the ship's brain, where 15 to 20 personnel monitor radar systems, weapon status, communications, and tactical situations 24 hours a day. Unlike older ships with physical controls and analog displays, the Zumwalt-Class CIC looks like a sci-fi movie set. Large touchscreen displays dominate the space, showing real-time tactical information, weapon status, and sensor data. Personnel sit at console workstations wearing sound-powered phone headsets, an old technology that still works even if the ship loses electrical power. The lighting is deliberately dim, with red bulbs used to preserve night vision for watchstanders who might need to transition to other areas. Watch rotations. The ship operates on an 8-hour watch rotation, 00 to 08, 08 to 16, and 16 to 24, midnight to 8 a.m., 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and 4 p.m. to midnight. But here's the catch. You're not just standing watch for 8 hours. You also have maintenance duties, training requirements, qualification work, and cleaning responsibilities. A typical day might be 8 hours on watch, 2 hours of maintenance, 1 hour of training, 1 hour of cleaning, 1 hour for meals, 7 hours for sleep, if you're lucky, and that accounts for your entire 24-hour day. Some sailors work an even more challenging schedule called port and starboard, where the crew is divided into 2 groups, each working 12 hours on and 12 hours off. This continues for days or even weeks during intensive operations, leaving personnel in a state of constant exhaustion. The stealth revolution, inside the technology that makes DDG 1002 invisible. But that's just the beginning of understanding life on this remarkable vessel. To truly appreciate what these sailors deal with daily, you need to understand the revolutionary technology they're operating. Technology so advanced that it fundamentally changes how naval warfare works. The Lyndon B. Johnson's stealth capabilities are extraordinary. Its radar cross-section, the size it appears to enemy radar, is approximately that of a small fishing boat, despite the ship being 610 feet long and displacing 15,995 tons. To put that into perspective, traditional destroyers of similar size have radar signatures 50 times larger. This ship essentially makes itself invisible to enemy detection systems. The Tumblehome hull. The secret starts with the hull design. Unlike traditional ships that bulge outward at the waterline, the Zumwalt-Class has what's called a Tumblehome hull that slopes inward. This unconventional design deflects radar waves away from their source rather than bouncing them back. It looks strange, almost alien, but it's incredibly effective. The ship's angular superstructure, sharp edges, and faceted surfaces all serve the same purpose: scatter radar energy in directions away from enemy receivers. But here's what that means for the crew. Living inside a stealth ship comes with unique challenges. The inward-sloping hull creates an unusual internal geometry. Spaces aren't shaped like you'd expect. Walls angle inward, making rooms feel smaller than they actually are. Storage locations are oddly shaped, requiring custom solutions for securing equipment during rough seas. Material science magic. The exterior of the ship is covered in special composite materials that absorb radar rather than reflecting it. These materials require constant maintenance. Sailors must regularly inspect every surface for damage, degradation, or gaps that could compromise the stealth characteristics. A simple paint chip in the wrong location could significantly increase the radar signature. Moreover, the entire electrical and electronic systems are designed to minimize electromagnetic emissions. Traditional ships leak radio frequency energy from dozens of sources: radar systems, communication equipment, even electrical machinery. The Zumwalt-Class contains these emissions through careful shielding and engineering. For the crew, this means that equipment maintenance isn't just about functionality, it's about maintaining the ship's invisibility. Integrated power system. The propulsion system represents another revolutionary technology. The Lyndon B uses an integrated power system where gas turbines generate electricity that powers everything: propulsion motors, weapon systems, sensors, hotel loads for crew support. The ship has two Rolls-Royce MT-30 gas turbines generating 78 megawatts of power combined. That's enough electricity to power a town of 40,000 people. This unified power system means the crew can dynamically allocate energy based on mission requirements. Need more power for weapons? Divert it from propulsion. Need maximum speed? Reduce power to non-essential systems. The flexibility is unprecedented, but it also requires engineers to constantly monitor and balance the electrical load across the entire ship. The human cost of innovation. Here's what the documentation doesn't tell you. Operating such an advanced ship means the crew needs extensive specialized training. A typical sailor on the Lyndon B completes 40 to 60% more training hours than counterparts on conventional destroyers. They're not just learning to operate equipment, they're learning to maintain systems that exist on only 3 ships in the entire world. When something breaks, there's no extensive manual or widespread institutional knowledge to draw from. The maintainers often work directly with engineers from the defense contractors who design the systems, troubleshooting problems in real time via satellite communications. In fact, several civilian contractors are temporarily assigned to the ship during initial deployments to provide technical support and training. The psychological pressure is significant. These sailors know they're operating prototype technology that cost billions of dollars. A single mistake could damage systems that take months and millions of dollars to repair. This creates a constant low-level stress that traditional ship crews don't experience to the same degree. Advanced weapons systems, the arsenal, striking power beyond the horizon. The weapon systems aboard the Lyndon B represent the primary reason this ship exists. This destroyer was designed for land attack missions, providing naval surface fire support that can strike targets up to 63 nautical miles inland, approximately 72 miles. Traditional naval guns maxed out at about 13 to 15 miles, meaning this ship can hit targets 5 times farther away than previous destroyers. The ship's main armament consists of 2 advanced gun systems, each capable of firing long-range land attack projectiles. These 155mm rounds use GPS guidance to achieve remarkable accuracy, less than 16 feet of error at maximum range. Each gun can fire 10 rounds per minute, delivering devastating firepower while remaining beyond the range of most shore-based defenses. The ammunition challenge. But here's the complication. Each advanced gun system projectile was originally estimated to cost approximately $35,000. However, due to production challenges and the limited number of ships in the Zumwalt-Class, actual costs skyrocketed to over $800,000 per round. That's more expensive than some cruise missiles. The Navy ultimately canceled the ammunition program in 2016, leaving these advanced gun systems without their intended ammunition. This created a unique situation for the crew. They train on weapon systems that currently can't fire their primary ammunition. The Navy is developing alternative munitions, including less expensive GPS-guided projectiles and potentially hypersonic weapons, but as of the ship's deployment, the main guns sit ready but largely unused. Vertical launch systems. The ship also carries 80 vertical launch system cells distributed in clusters along the deck. Each cell can hold different types of missiles: SM-2, surface-to-air missiles for air defense, Tomahawk cruise missiles for land attack, vertical launch anti-submarine rockets for submarine threats, or future weapons still in development. Loading these systems requires intense coordination. Each missile weighs between 2,500 and 3,500 pounds and measures 15 to 20 feet long. The loading process can take 6 to 8 hours for a full complement, with crane operations, safety checks, and security protocols all carefully orchestrated. The weapons department personnel who manage these systems undergo months of specialized training and certification. For the crew, knowing they're sitting on top of 80 missile cells containing live warheads is part of daily reality. The danger is theoretical but real. A single accident or enemy hit could trigger catastrophic secondary explosions. Safety procedures are absolutely rigid, with multiple redundant systems to prevent accidental launches or detonations. Training and qualification. Becoming combat ready, the never-ending school. Life aboard the Lyndon B. Johnson isn't just about doing your job. It's about continuously proving you can do your job under any circumstances. The Navy's Personnel Qualification Standard System requires sailors to complete extensive written and practical examinations for every position they hold. A typical junior sailor arriving aboard the ship faces 12 to 18 months of qualification requirements before being considered fully trained. They must complete their basic watchstanding qualifications, warfare specialty training, damage control certifications, and leadership courses. During this time, they carry a qual book, a detailed manual listing every task they must complete and verified by senior personnel. The qualification grind. Here's what that actually means. After completing an 8-hour watch shift, a sailor seeking qualifications must find qualified personnel who can observe and sign off on specific tasks. This might mean staying up an additional 2 to 4 hours to complete practical demonstrations or written exams. Many sailors report sleeping only 4 to 5 hours a night during intensive qualification periods. Senior personnel take qualifications seriously because lives depend on competency. During emergencies, fires, flooding, casualties, there's no time for learning. Everyone must know their responsibilities instinctively. The ship runs regular drills, sometimes multiple times per day, testing crew responses to various scenarios. Specialized warfare training. Beyond basic qualifications, sailors pursue warfare specialization pins, surface warfare specialist, enlisted surface warfare specialist, and others depending on their rating. Earning these qualifications requires demonstrating comprehensive knowledge of ship systems, weapons, tactics, and operations. The process typically takes 18 to 24 months and includes both written exams and practical boards where senior personnel aggressively question candidates. The thing is that failure isn't just embarrassing, it can affect career advancement and assignment opportunities. Sailors who don't complete qualifications within expected timelines face potential administrative actions or reassignment. This creates constant pressure to balance qualification requirements with regular duties and minimal personal time. Emergency response drills. Emergency drills aboard the Lyndon B. Johnson are sophisticated and unpredictable. The crew regularly practices responses to fires, flooding, man-overboard situations, chemical, biological, radiological attacks, and combat damage scenarios. These drills can occur any time, day or night, often deliberately scheduled during rest periods to test genuine emergency response capabilities. During a fire drill, teams must locate the fire, establish boundaries, bring hoses to bear, activate fire suppression systems, and potentially evacuate spaces, all while wearing full firefighting gear in temperatures exceeding 100 degrees Fahrenheit. The Navy requires response times measured in minutes, not tens of minutes. First responders must reach any location on the ship within 60 seconds of the alarm. Flooding drills involve setting up portable pumps, shoring bulkheads with wood and metal braces to prevent water spread, and executing damage control procedures while partially flooded compartments list at severe angles. These are not gentle simulations. They're physically demanding scenarios that leave sailors exhausted and soaked. International operations and protocols, beyond American waters, global mission requirements. The Lyndon B. Johnson doesn't operate in isolation. As an advanced destroyer, it regularly participates in international operations, joint exercises, and cooperative security missions that require understanding complex protocols and working with allied naval forces. When operating with NATO allies, the ship must coordinate communications, tactical doctrine, and operational procedures with vessels from different nations, each with their own communication systems, command structures, and tactical approaches. Sailors must learn international maritime signals, radio procedures in multiple languages, and cultural considerations for interacting with foreign military personnel. Freedom of navigation operations. The ship also participates in what the Navy calls freedom of navigation operations, deliberate transits through international waters where some nations make excessive territorial claims. These operations are inherently tense, with the ship potentially shadowed by foreign naval vessels, aircraft, or surveillance systems.